13 years. What else would you like to know? Do we have any questions about my experience with Twitch? Like, I want to become a streamer. What should I do? Don't. Don't. If you enjoy your sanity, don't. Well, I guess it depends on why you want to stream. That's the big question: is why do you want to stream? Because that's why the reason why you stream is going to determine how long of a streamer you're going to be and whether you're going to enjoy it or not. If you're going to stream because you want to make thousands and thousands of money and be world famous, good stinking luck, because that is very unusual for that to happen. Something special has to happen to you for that to happen, and don't think it's going to happen. For fun, yes. For profit, no. Well, you can profit. It's just it requires a lot of work. A lot of work, and there's a formula you have to follow, right? And even if you follow the formula, there's no guarantee you're going to be successful because there's a formula, you have to follow it, and you have to work. And you have to be working in the right areas and have the skills to do it. Not everybody is suited to do that. I will admit I'm probably not suited to do it. I'm pretty sure I'm not. I don't have the motivation to be successful at it because I know what's required to do it and I just don't want to. Yet I stream every day. And that's because I enjoy it, though. I enjoy streaming. I really do. When I first started doing it, way back when, I wasn't streaming it for any other reason other than for myself to, those of you who haven't heard the story, is the reason I started streaming was playing MechWarrior Online, and I wanted a way to review my performance while playing games, not to become a super good player, but just to be better, and best way I know to do that is to go back and take a look at what I've been doing, what mistakes I'm making, and what should I be doing instead of doing that, blah, blah, blah. So basically just a way to analyze what I'd been doing. And the question was, so how do I do that? 13 years ago. And the answer was, well, I could either, record directly to my hard drive, fill that thing up for how quickly, who knows, or find some way online of collecting the videos. And at the time, Twitch was pretty much it. It was Justin TV/Twitch back then. And what do you know? Twitch. Twitch is a gaming platform, and I'm playing a game, so it's a perfect fit. Create an account, start streaming. That was October 1st, 2013. Although I'd probably been thinking about that about a week or two before then, actually longer than that, because I'd been playing MechWarrior Online for a couple months at that point. But anyway, I got to the point where I joined a group of people, that's Amber Brigade, aka DHB, and I just wanted to be better and at playing the game. And the only way I knew that was to review what I'd been doing because my memory sucks. Again, because of multiple sclerosis, my short-term memory sucks. And so for me to remember from, 2 minutes ago, not going to happen. So, but when I actually can look at the videos and go, wow, I don't remember that happening at all. That kind of thing. So it really helped. And so that's how I started. And then I played MechWarrior Online from 2012 to on a regular basis, like almost daily, to 2015, 2016, something like that. So we'll say 4 years, we'll say. And then eventually I was burning out on MechWarrior Online. Go, well, but I'm kind of enjoying streaming. So let's play something else and stream it and see how it goes. And next thing you know, here we are, 13 years later. Moved from streaming like 2-3 hours a day, maybe 4 or 5 times a week, to streaming now 7 days a week, 6 hours a day, and actually making money off of it. Not a lot, very little actually. I'm not even making minimum wage. Let's not kid ourselves. So, so yeah. Anyway, so question, Fook rules. Idea that teenagers have that they will become a YouTuber as a career choice is difficult to comprehend. Some of them can do it. Most of them can't. The vast majority of people cannot do that on YouTube. It's unless you know exactly what you're doing and you know exactly who your audience is, you're not going to do that. That's just reality. How quickly were their viewers watching me? I'm going to say I probably had viewers within the first week. And by viewers, I mean less than 10. And the reason for that was because at the time, MechWarrior Online wasn't super popular, but it wasn't super unpopular either. And when I was streaming, there wasn't a lot of competition for the most part for viewership. And so that's where I was basically picking them up. Small audience group in the first place for MechWarrior Online, and then not a lot of competition. So that's why I was picking up about 10 viewers or so. And then it grew over time because I, after I had been streaming for a couple of months and whatever, and the leadership in DHB noticed. They knew I was a streamer, and we had at least in the division or battalion that I was in, we had a training night on Wednesdays, I think it was, and one of them came to me and go, "Hey, do you mind if I watch your stream?" And you know, so I can instead of because normally when we do training nights, the officers they're participating in the training, and it's harder for them to notice what people are doing wrong or doing right, that kind of stuff. So when they're trying to be trainers, and it's hard to do when you're actually fighting, doing the fights and stuff. And so they came to me and go, "Do you mind if we watch a stream to use it as a teaching tool, at least for us, so that we can learn and make comments on what people are doing that way?" And I said, "I don't have a problem with that." And so that helped grow the stream, believe it or not, because it got those couple extra viewers. So on Wednesday nights, I always had, at least 3 viewers, and that's just grew over time. So, what was the first game after MWO? Uh, I have no idea. Stellaris, maybe? Battletech? No, no, not Battletech. I did stuff before Battletech came out. Battletech was what, 2016? Or was it 2018? I forget. No, but Battletech wasn't it. I want to say Stellaris, maybe Total War, Warcraft, not Warcraft, Warhammer. It's either Stellaris or Total War. It'd be my guess. How quickly you cross the 10 consistent viewers mark? I honestly don't know. I know at my peak, which is probably still my peak, at my high point doing MechWarrior Online, I think I was averaging like 30 or 40 people every stream. I think that sounds about right. Because again, you got to remember, I was only streaming on. I wasn't doing the 7 days a week. I was only doing like Monday through Thursday, I think it was, and then Saturdays and Sundays a little bit. Uh, but it was only for like 2 or 3 hours. I wasn't doing these 6 and 8 hour streams back then. I was only doing like 2 or 3 hours. So basically, I started streaming at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was done by 6 for dinner. That was my stream schedule for a very long time. Up until 2020, that was my schedule. Start at 3 and at 6, done. And the reason for that was because before 2020, I was working. And my work job, I started at 6 in the morning, and my day was over at 2:30. I only worked 8.5 hours a day, and that was as a regular worker. And then when we started our own business in 2012, I kept the same schedule, and that because it worked for me, and it worked for the business and everything. It just worked. So start at 6, end at 2:30, stream at 3, end at 6, have dinner. That's it. So as a result, streaming was never really a consideration for bringing in money, because this is before the affiliate system came out and everything. So if you weren't a partner, you weren't making money as a streamer unless you were doing some type of affiliate marketing while you're doing your streams. So, which I wasn't, of course. And so, but I would say the peak of my viewership was somewhere in 30 or 40 when I was doing MechWarrior Online. I was averaging 30 to 40, which I can't even match today. And the reason for that, and this is part of how do you become a successful streamer, if you're interested, is you have to play the same game over and over and over and over again to build your audience. And it's got to be a somewhat popular game. Otherwise, you're not going to draw in big crowds. If you don't believe me, look at the best MWO streamers, the biggest ones. They don't bring in big numbers. And what I mean by big numbers is nobody really is consistently over 100. I mean, I think No Guts, No Galaxy is the only one that brings in 100 on a regular basis. And even then, they're slowly losing people because the game's dying, right? So, And all the other big streamers that used to do MechWarrior Online, they moved on to other stuff a long time ago. They moved on to different things, so they're not even doing it anymore. But and again, that's part of doing streaming too. Is you have to move, you have to learn to go with the flow type deal. You can't just sit there and be stagnant all the time. You have to be keeping, aware of what's going on in the industry, what's popular, what's not, that kind of thing. So anyway, yeah. So me, 30, 40, probably about what 2015 or so, 2016, whenever No Guts No Galaxy was still having people other than Phil stream, because back in the day, No Guts No Galaxy had more than one streamer. There was a group of people, and I I got invited to be one of those streamers late in the process. And the process being is No Guts No Galaxy. This was Phil and Darren at the time. Something happened. I don't know what it was. I never heard the story. I never asked. Something happened in the background, and Phil and Darren felt the need to. They can't have any more other people other than them do streams on their channel in order to control the content, because somebody did something or said something or whatever. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it wasn't me, because I had only been there for a couple of months, I think, before they made this policy change. Was like, you know, they were talking to me. There's a little interview process, sort of, kind of, and they go, so you want to join, and stream a day or two out of the week or whatever. And I go, sure, why not? And so I picked up Sundays. I think it was Sundays for No Guts No Galaxy, and I got a little bit of exposure there, and I think that jumped up my numbers a little bit on my own channel for a little bit, and that's the general idea. Is you get onto NGNG TV so you can drive people to your channel too, and get more attention, and it worked. And like I said, and then NGNG did the okay, no more other people doing the stuff, and so I just went back, and I still had my 30 to 40 people watching, and that lasted until I basically stopped doing MWO on a regular basis. And then in 2020 is when I decided to do this full time, because I had to retire early, that kind of stuff. And it was just, as I didn't want to play the same game over and over again, right? And even though I had been, in all honesty, well, the thing is, it's not play the same game over and over again. It's stream the same game over and over again. In this case, it was MechWarrior Online. It's like, uh, come on, Veronica, hurry up! I'm talking. Okay, so, and this is still, like I said, it's after No Guts No Galaxy kicked everybody out, and I was still streaming MechWarrior Online, because that was, like I said, 2016 or so, and I was still doing my normal streaming stuff. And then it wasn't too far after that, or too long after that, I started burning out in MWO, but I still wanted to keep streaming. That's when I started, streaming other stuff. And then in 2020, like I said, I retired early and said, I need to keep busy, so let's do the streaming thing. And because I at least familiar with it, how it works, and what I'm supposed to be doing, and I like it. So did that, and then started clicking. So do I want to do this for a living? And I went, because I'd been thinking about it, and it was just like, how do I really want to do this for a living? And because I know what it's going to take, and it's like, let's do half and half. Let's do a half and half thing. Let's put some effort into it, but not a whole lot of effort into it, to be honest. So, and that's where we are today. It's just like, I know what I need to do to be a full-time streamer and be somewhat successful, as in making an okay amount of money, that kind of stuff. If that's really what my goal is, I know what I have to do. I have to devote myself to just streaming one game or two games at most, maybe cut down the streaming server, maybe cut down the streaming schedule a little bit. Because I think that helps people too, because you're not overrunning your audience or something. I don't know what the right word is there, but even though and even then I'm not sure that's even the correct way of doing it, because I try to keep my eyes on people that I've seen for years here on Twitch. And one thing I've noticed about a lot of streamers is, at least the ones I follow, their audiences aren't growing. And I don't know what the reason is behind that. And like they get spikes here and there, but it's usually related to new games. To be honest, it's when they start playing new games, they get spikes in their audience for a little bit, and then they drop back down to where they've been. And but overall, their overall growth has been very, at least what I've noticed. They may see something different if they're tracking it and that kind of stuff, but just for me, just eyeballing stuff, I don't see a whole lot of growth in most streamers. And and sometimes it's related to scheduling, real life stuff, or just various reasons, right? There's different reasons that go on there. But like I said, most people are not growing. and and again, I'm not talking about little streamers like me that are only averaging like 20, 40 people, per stream type stuff. I'm talking about people with the hundreds and thousands and stuff, or not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of viewers or hundreds of viewers. And they're all sitting at the same numbers on a regular basis. I mean, there's no real growth there. And I can't really, I don't know if it's because Twitch isn't growing or if it's because that's just the nature of the game, because it's just the way it is, right? And also, there's a lot of competition too. Like there is a lot of people out there with hundreds of viewers, and there's lots of people with thousands of viewers. And I can't watch everybody, but like I said, I just have a group of people that I've been watching for a number of years now, and their numbers seem to be, to me, flat. And and that kind of makes me think, like, do I really want to do that as a full-time thing? If that's what I'm going to be looking at, is there's going to be a peak, and then it's going to flatten out more than likely, and it's going to stay there unless I play the game of playing the whatever the new kid on the block is for game purposes, right? And do I really want to do that? Because a lot of new games that are coming out, it's like, I think they're crap. I'll be honest, a lot of new games are crap, and I don't want to play them. And and that's really that's a big factor. And while I'm doing a lot of this retro stuff with Baldur's Gate and stuff, it's like, because I know those games are good, I enjoy playing them, and it's been a long time since I played them, so it's like new stuff for me. And but there's new games that come out, and it's just like, I don't really want to stream that, and I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to pick up more viewers because of it, because people pick up on that stuff pretty quick. I've noticed if you're not having fun, people pick up real quick. So yeah. Streamers that maintain the same number over a long time are basically growing, because there is always people stopping to watch, so the new ones must be coming in today. But that's not growth, Hurricane. That's maintaining. That is not growth. That's what they call treading water. That's all that is. That's not actually growth, because your growth is when your numbers actually increase over time. So say you're averaging 20, and within a year, you say you're averaging 50. Next year, you're doing 75, then 100, and whatever. That's growth. If you're always at 50, you're just treading water, because people do come and go. I mean, that's the way it is. People come and go. But if you're always at 50, that's not growth. It's because it's not the same 50 over and over going over time. It's because, again, people come and go. It's the nature of the world. It's the nature of life. So that's not growth. That is just treading water. Growth is when you actually see your numbers going up. And again, it comes down to, what's the reason why we're not seeing growth in established streamers. And my opinion on that one is because there's so many streamers out there. There's a limited audience. And there's the whole, how does Twitch work? As far as how much do people get paid for doing it, and that kind of stuff. And Twitch is still working on that, believe it or not. They're constantly tweaking this on how they pay us for what we're doing. And now there's a little bit more competition with YouTube Gaming, which isn't doing that great, I don't think. And then what, Kick is out now too. And Kick, I don't know how long they're going to be around because some of their stuff they're doing is like, I don't know where they're getting their money from to do this, because I don't think they're doing ads yet. At least I don't watch Kick a lot, very, very, very rarely. So, and I don't think I've noticed any ads, so I don't know how they're monetizing their system. Because I know they have a subscription system, but there's no way they're bringing enough money for that to pay for everything, because Twitch will tell you that the subs don't pay for everything. It's just not enough. That's why they have to do the ads. Without ads, a lot of things just disappear, and that's just the nature of entertainment these days. I mean, that's why we have subscription streaming services, and some of them used to be free, but now they've had to go to ad stuff because again, they're not making enough money off of just plain subs, and it's just again the nature of the game. So anyway, streaming. In order to be, again, my opinion, I'm not the biggest streamer around, but there's certain things you have to do, and one of them is you have to devote yourself to one game, and then you have to decide what kind of person playing that game are you going to be. Are you going to be an expert? People are going to be able to come to you and go ask you questions on how to do this, do that, do that. Are you going to be more entertaining? It's like, telling jokes and whatever you want to do, telling life stories, whatever you want to do, or just not say a thing, which I've seen streamers do, which baffles me. I don't think you understand the concept, but it works for them because they're making money off of it. But anyway, you have to decide on what your personality on the stream is for your streaming stuff is going to be. And then after you determine all that, you have to, originally, this wasn't necessarily a needed thing, but it was without them knowing it. Social media is huge. So once you've decided, I'm going to be a streamer, I'm going to be this time a streamer, then you have to, develop a name or brand. And then you have to get on social media and promote yourself. And you have to interact with other people, go, hey, come watch my stream, or hey, can you help me out, blah, blah, blah. You have to be, it's not something just sit back and twiddle your thumbs and think things are going to happen, because they're not. Expert versus entertaining is the real thing. Yeah, that's the big thing you have to decide on. You can't do both. I don't think you can do both. You might be able to, but I don't think I've seen anybody do it. Every streamer all the bigger streamers that I watch, they are usually the entertaining type. There's a couple of them out there that are the experts, but the experts don't interact with their audience very much either, for the most part. Yeah, there's a couple of people that maybe, but I don't think you can do both. At least not be good at both. You're simply not prostituting yourself enough on social media. Oh, I know I'm not. I basically have 2 social media accounts. I have Twitter and YouTube. That's my only social media that I do. That's the only thing. That's the only stuff I want to do. And even then, I don't want to do it. YouTube is a little bit better. At least recently, it's been better for me. But X/Twitter, only thing I do there is I post the stream as live. I don't interact on X at all, because it's just a freaking cesspool. It doesn't matter what subject it is, politics, games, sports, whatever. Pick anything. It's a cesspool. I want nothing to do with it. The only thing I do up there is I go stream. This is the stream title, blah, blah, blah. This is the link to the channel. That's it. That's all I do. I have lists set up for game developers and some other streamers and stuff that I pay attention to, and I'll like and repost stuff that I feel like reposting, but usually reposting is usually only related to game developer stuff. Liking is mostly game developer stuff. Rarely do I like other people's posts on X, because they get you. I don't run to bother with it. So, because it does, again, the Twitter algorithm, once you start liking stuff, it changes what you're seeing and stuff, and I don't like that. So, and then YouTube is technically social media, and again, for me, it's been better lately. I've been lucky enough to get a couple of people that are actually being positive when they make comments on my videos, which I so appreciate. Because and the negative ones, it's like, as soon as I see a negative post, is it block? I think it's block or ban. I don't know what it is on YouTube. I forget what the word is. It's like, go away. Never going to see you again. I think it's silence. I think what it is. I don't remember what it is. But anyway. But yeah, social media, it's such a pleasant place to be. But anyway, so again, streamer, got to pick a game that's going to be fairly popular. You got to choose kind of personality. You're going to be the expert. You can be entertaining, something in between. Not suggesting you do something in between, because it's not going to probably pull that off. And then After that, social media, lots of social media, and you're going to have to reach out to, as a streamer, you're going to have to reach out to different developers if you're interested in their stuff. You have to reach out to probably other streamers if you really want to, if you want to do like any type of cooperation stuff or co-op. I guess it'd be co-op technically. So, yeah. Anyway, it's not easy. Do you know of anybody that came here to Twitch from watching you on YouTube? Came here to Twitch. Oh yeah, that happens all the time actually, Vocals. Hey, Leo, welcome back. Missed out on being a League of Legends streamer? No, I did not. No, I did not. Never really liked League of Legends in the first place. And that was before you even started interacting with the community. No, I was never a League of Legends person anyway. I never streamed that stuff. Although oh shit, that actually just realized Smite didn't come up in the images, did it? Or did it? Because I streamed Smite a couple of times. Smite 2 is still in development, I think. Probably won't be playing it though. So, do I know anyone that came here from Twitch to Twitch from watching? Yeah, it actually happens quite a bit. On Fridays when we do Solasta, we've actually had some of the people that makes those campaigns. They see me. They're looking for their stuff on YouTube to see who's actually playing it, and they see that I'm, because I have videos up there for their stuff, and then there's a link to my channel here, and they see that, and they come over on Fridays usually, and they watch. We've actually had a couple of those guys, not this current campaign, but the previous two campaigns. Both of the people that built those campaigns were here on the stream every Friday. So YouTube works. It really does. It gets you more attention. Game like it on StarCraft 2, but never played it. So a few games of the one that was on Facebook. Yeah. Developer's a nice addition to your streams. Yeah, and actually, Leos, he was here earlier today. I'm not sure if he's still here. He's a couple hours ahead of me, I know that. But he's the developer of Star Valor. And every time I play Star Valor, he pops in. And I think he might have originally found me on YouTube. So I'm not sure about that, but I think he might have. Unless he's watching, unless he has the Star Valor, page here on Twitch up all the time, which is possible. Micro interviews were very funny. Yes, very funny. 2 or 3? It's been at least 2. It's been at least 2. But I said not this campaign, but the previous 2. Both of those people that developed the campaigns were here on every week. I think, was it the last guy, he's Irish, and the previous guy was Italian, if I remember right. So, which is kind of cool because, again, Europeans coming out on a Friday night to watch us play games, but it's very late for them. So that was kind of very cool for them to come out and do. So, and again, I didn't know I didn't ask them to. They just showed up. Because I don't usually do that. I don't ask people to come watch. I don't ask devs to come watch, but they do pop in. Like I said, the guy for Star Valor, he usually comes in every time I play Star Valor, and then today he was here. Not sure exactly why, but he was, and I appreciate that he came out. Of course, I appreciate everybody who comes out watching. And then the Treese brothers who do Star Traders, Frontiers, whatever the name of the cause. He messed it up again. Star Frontiers. Or Star Trader. Again, it's in there. It's one of the pictures. But they pop in every now and then, whether I'm playing their games or not. But they're related. They have a lot of interaction with the turn-based community. I don't know if you have heard of hashtag Turn-Based Thursday, which is the thing on Twitter. And we do they do an event for the last couple of years here on Twitch and YouTube and stuff too. And the Treese brothers are involved with that in some way or another. I know that. But they pop in here from time to time, whether I'm playing their game or not, which is cool. As far as other developers, we've had them pop in from time to time. It depends. The big developers, probably not so much. It's usually the small guys, which again is because they appreciate it when you stream their games because that's free advertisement. That's free advertisement for them. They don't have to worry about paying for it. It's free, right? And so they really do appreciate it when streamers do it. And sometimes they give you free stuff, but usually I don't ask for it because usually I've already usually bought their stuff in the first place. So, but then others, when you usually get keys from different developers and whatever, if you tell them ahead of time, they'll come and they'll watch if they can. Like Slytherin people, I don't know if they have or not. I don't think so because they're actually based out of England or Italy. I can't remember. I know their head guy I think is Italian. I think their main office is in Italy. So they don't make it to the stream too often because of the time difference. So because they got a business to run. Pineapple and pizza, kind of Italian. Yes. Yes. So, like I said, we have developers pop in every now and then, and it's fun. It's always nice to see a nice variation in viewership, from all points of the world. Like when my mom was here back in August because of Mrs. Gimpy's surgery, my mom was over here helping out and stuff. And after streaming stuff, I talk to her and see how life is going, that kind of thing. Because we haven't been able to do that a whole lot lately, and because of the distance between us, even though we talked every week. But actually talked face to face, she really likes to do that. So anyway, we had a lot of conversations. She asked me, "So how's streaming going?" And I go, "Too bad. I'm enjoying it." And she goes, "So what is it actually?" So what is it? I go, "Well, it's." She's actually watched the stream a couple of times over the years. Not too often, but she's watched it. Usually it was when I was doing the fundraiser. She'd pop in and she wouldn't necessarily say something, but I know her account name. So I've seen her in the audience before. But anyway, so she was here back in August, July and August, whatever. No, August, July and August. Yeah, whatever. A couple months ago. And, we just sat talking. I explained it to her, what streaming was and what the idea was. And she goes, "So people actually watch you play video games?" And I go, "Yeah." And she just gets the look on her face. She goes, "That is so weird." And I go, "How's it weird?" She goes, "Well, it doesn't sound like it'd be very interesting." I go, "Do you watch football on the TV?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I go, "How's that any different?" She goes, "Well, it's a sport, and it's our team, blah blah blah, and we're cheering for them and stuff." And they go, "And how is that any different?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, here's the main difference between what you're doing watching, say, a baseball game or a football game on TV is you have no interaction with what's going on TV at all, other than you're screaming at the TV, which causes nothing. There's no reaction from the team or the crowd or anything. It's just you screaming at the TV. That's your only interaction, basically." And she goes, "Yeah, I guess so." I go, "Well, the difference here is with streaming on Twitch is I can actually interact with the audience." And she thought about that for a little bit. She goes, "How do you interact?" I go, "Well, they're typing in chat." And I go, "You've seen it. You know how it works." He goes, "But is that really interacting with them?" And I go, "Of course it is. You send emails and you text all the time." You text us all the time. How is that any different? The main difference is you can actually see what I'm doing in the process. I'm entertaining, but the real truth is we're coming here for Rocket. Well, we know that. Don't ruin it. And she goes, "But it doesn't make a lot of sense to me." And I go, "It's because you're not thinking about it the same way." It's just like watching a sport or watching a TV show. The main difference is you're actually interacting. As a streamer, I'm actually interacting with the audience. Not all streamers do that, but the good ones do. And, the successful ones do. And people that just want to, have interaction with other people do. It's just that way. And then it started to click. I mean, my mom's not stupid. She's very smart. But you can see the wheels are spinning in her brain. And then she goes, "Yeah, okay, I'm beginning to see what you mean and stuff." And I go, she says, "I can think, it makes sense, I guess." And I go, "Okay, that's all I'm asking for is that," I'm not even asking for it, as long as you understand that, this is actually good for me too. And that's the part that actually got her. Is I said, one of the reasons I do this is because I don't go out anymore, really. I have no interaction with the public. I mean, my interaction with the rest of the world is basically Mrs. Gimpy and the occasional, neighbor here, but I don't really go out and interact with people for much. So this is my interaction with the rest of the world for the most part. And she goes, yeah, that's actually probably not a bad thing. So not playing football yourself, you watch someone else playing it. You're not playing a video game yourself, you watch someone else playing it, telling him in chat he is bad at it. No, you're not doing that. Well, no, that wasn't the comparison I was actually going for her again. Like the comparison I was going for is when you watch TV, you're watching something happen, whether it's sports or a TV show, but you have no interaction with it, right? You can sit there all day and talk to the TV, but anything you say is not going to affect what you're seeing or hearing, that kind of stuff. Twitch is different in the fact that if you're watching somebody stream, you can type in something and the streamer can actually react to that, right? You don't get that when you're watching TV, at least not yet. And it'd be probably a long while before we see that because of, dependent audience size and stuff. So anyway, it's a concept that a lot of people who don't watch Twitch don't quite understand. That's kind of the real draw to watching Twitch or, Kick or YouTube, whatever, live, is that you actually get to interact with the person that's actually broadcasting. And that's the big pull, I think. It's not so much watching somebody play a video game, because let's be honest, it's not that exciting. I'll be perfectly honest. I know it's not that exciting. I do it. I watch other people play video games and stuff. I'm not watching usually a streamer because they're playing because they're necessarily good at the game. I just want to see what the game looks like in general. And if they want to be entertaining in the process, great. That's a plus for me. But if they're just going to sit there and not say a word, I'm probably not going to be watching too long. Because if you're not talking about something, then I might as well just watch a regular YouTube video, in all honesty. There's no reason to watch a streamer who doesn't actually interact. So it'd be hard to invite around 20 people each day to your home to have a chat with. That is true. It's hard enough inviting 2 people or 1 people to your home. It's hard enough talking to the same person over and over and over again for almost 30 years. So, anyway. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put a stream marker in there earlier. But anyway. So, what else?